Hey, so this is my 3.29 league starter for SSF All Flame League. I think this is Lightning. So Lightning Conduit got very. This is a Lightning Conduit Elementalist, by the way. This is a Lightning Conduit Elementalist. Skill got buffed a crap ton this league. It was already pretty okay. I've been looking at the ladders for SSF and hardcore. I specifically got hardcore just because I like taking hardcore builds and extrapolating them into a softcore environment. A lot of the top HC, SSF, and HC players for Elementalist on days 1 to 3 of the league were playing Lightning Conduit. So I think it's a underrated skill, and I think it's kind of under the radar on how strong it is. And it got buffed. So these are the gem buffs. I got these from Telvanni PoE. I'm not doing the math on this. I just CBA. This is the Lightning Keystone that they added. It could be more damage than this if we decide to use Lucky damage with Voice of the Storm, but I'm just going to go with crafted SSF gear. So it's roughly 10% more damage. This could be wrong. I don't know. I'm trusting people. If it's wrong, it's wrong. My bad. I think it's going to be somewhere around here, so always factor in that I'm one level higher than I am. If I go on auto, do that. So it's a level 94 POB. I think they said the keystone's going to be around here, so we're already there. And that is 25% more maximum lightning damage and 50% less minimum, I'm pretty sure, is the keystone, which is big. It's only and you only do lightning damage, but I don't do any other damage besides lightning damage on my lightning conduit build, so it should be fine. And these are the buffs. We're a elementalist using golems, shock keystone, obviously, and Heart of Destruction. Heart of Destruction is really good for lightning conduit, just the way it functions, because lightning conduit actually is very good with AoE, because it's a 2-button playstyle, placing down Orb of Storms and Lightning Conduit. If you look at it, you want a huge Lightning Conduit has a huge radius. You wouldn't think that when you cast it first because nothing's shocked around you, but if you shock the whole screen, Lightning Conduit's going to hit the whole screen. So that's why we run Orb of Storms with Chain, Ink AoE, and Unbound Amulets for a higher shock. Arcane Devotion can go anywhere. It'll probably go here or somewhere else. I'll fix that. But anyways, or you can just drop. We could probably just drop Clarity. Honestly, and it'll be fine. Anyways, so we're scaling hybrid. I think this build's very tanky compared to a lot of the other Elementalist pubs I've been looking at, like Winter Orb and stuff like that, especially on SSF gear. Power charge stacking is a whole other beast in itself, but on SSF, I don't have access to that early on. So if we're just looking at the gear, I think with All Flame and Ziggy's teaser, he was getting a crap ton of gold in the campaign. So I think if we're doing the mechanic and maps, we're going to get even more gold, is my hope. So I'm going to be going for a Breach, Harvest, Map Effect, Map Drop, Tree, just speed farming those mechanics, and doing the league mechanic to hopefully get a lot of gold, and utilizing recoms for a lot of my gear. So, and Breach as well. So I think this will be a recom with cast speed and lightning spell damage, lightning spell skill gems, because the level scaling also got buffed, which is not factoring for spells, which is not being factored into this damage. As well, I don't have any convergence conflict in here. So this will just be a prefix suffix recom. I think it's about a 40% chance to hit, which shouldn't be too bad. And then crafted modifiers, spell damage, and damage all focused. I think focus is really good for the way this build works. You place down an Orb of Storm just because self-casting, you're casting in bursts, and then you have to dodge and move, and especially for boss mechanics like Maven. Let's say you're casting and then you have to dodge the balls, or you have to dodge your beam, or whatever. You're gonna have to dash your way and move around, and then you're not gonna have DPS uptime. So I think focus is a really good way to is a really good mechanism for delivering damage, even more damage in bursts, because a lot of your damage is going to be burst based when you go in the boss for 5 seconds and then you have to dodge something and you go away. So you want to maximize how much damage you actually are doing in that window. So I think focus is going to be very strong for this build. So I'm utilizing double damage craft on my wands, double damage craft on my shield, and a attack and cast speed while focused craft on my gloves. As well as I said before, I don't have anything configured in here for convergence damage. So if you're timing convergence and focus, which you should be, is like, let's say you walk up on Maven and you place your Orb of Storms and you start casting, you should be clicking focus right away because you want to time it with your convergence. It's not super important, but it'll just make it feel better and it'll make you do significantly more damage. So if you time your focus and your convergence, you're doing double damage essentially. It is a crap load of damage. But that's not clicking because we're not padding. So this is also the mapping setup with Grace. So you have more evasion. You're at 30k evasion with Ghost Shrouds up as well. Ghost Shrouds, Leech, Evasion while Energy Shield, because you have so much Leech, and you're also getting the 5% Leech from, you can get it from Valko's Sign, which is Leech against enemies, and that is very strong with the Life Leech, Instant Leech, so you're double dipping on your Leech. And the bossing setup, like if you were doing Maven, you would swap this out, and it's very easy to swap out nowadays with the new socket colors, not having to worry about like recoloring it to green or whatever. You can just swap out Grace and Wrath whenever you want for bossing or for mapping. So if you're bossing, you're going to have even more DPS. You're going to have around 7. Oh, that's a boss. That's cheating. You're going to have around 6.6, 6.7 million. 6 up. Anyway, stop. Okay. Focused convergence. You're going to have a crap ton of DPS on essentially, in my mind, and for me, this is probably end of day 1, early day 2 gear in SSF. Especially with how fast it is to progress maps now with the new mapping system of only having tiers. It's super, super quick to get to endgame. We're also utilizing double regen craft on belt and body armor as more recovery because I've prioritized recovery and defense a lot in this build because you're just standing still casting on Lightning Conduit. So that's also why I run Arctic Armor. And at stationary, you can also run Soul Yokohama for more recovery while stationary and more physical damage reduction while stationary. So you're sitting around 12 or so max hit with that, and that's without any pat. So that's without where is it? Immortal Call and endurance charges, and you will have. I'm running Aggressive Bastion as my anoint because it helps with attack block as well as endurance charges while mapping. So while mapping, you're definitely going to have endurance charges. So that's going to help. And then you're also going to be proccing Immortal Call every now and again. And that's when it starts. I could just leave this and my build would look insane, but that's cheating. So we're not going to do that. I still think this is very strong. Even just the base like this, without all the other additional defenses that are going to be coming in periodically throughout your mapping gameplay. Because of all the evasion, you have a high block chance. And your leech, recovery, and ghost shrouds. It's just going to be a lot of recovery, and you're going to be doing a crap ton of damage anyways, so most things are going to get nuked pretty fast. Mana should be a problem with this build. I'm running a mana flask, so we should be fine. Mana flask kind of sucks, but it is what it is. They want mana to be a problem in this game, so that's how it's going to be. For casters. Yeah. I have the mana regen here, 10% reduced mana cost, and I take this energy shield, which is pretty efficient, 10% reduced mana cost while on full energy shield. I don't have that clicked because I'm always full, but that would help mana cost even more. No padding. And then one last question I have, if anyone knows, because I'm not claiming I'm an expert or anything, I have questions. I have questions too. I'm gonna learn too. Unbound ailments. So I have it configured here. Because if I take this out and I go to Orb Storms, which is Orb Storms is our shock delivery mechanism, because if you don't know, Lightning Conduit, you have to, for the skill to hit and function, you have to have an enemy the enemy has to be shocked. So if I go to Orb Storms here and I go to our current shock on a boss is 52%. And shock effect is 2.1. If I click Unbound Ailments on my Orb of Storms, it's 2.64, but it's still at 52. Weird. And that is 54%. So if I go here, oh, pat. So if I go here and I do increase on, I'm at 2.64 again, but now I'm at a 65 shock. So I don't know. I don't know if it's not counting the local mod on Unbound on Orb of Storms. It's not counting it locally on the gem, and it has to be a global modifier like this to understand it, or if I'm just cheating in my pub. I don't know. Someone let me know. I would like to fix that if I am. Anyways, I think it's gonna be a pretty strong build for Keepers League. There's a lot of good Elementalist builds you can pivot into for Ultra Endgame. Even this build can probably scale to 20 to 30 million DPS. You can get stuff like an Archdemon Crown, four-link Archdemon Crown with the gem level scaling. That'll be pretty huge. You can get an Ashes. You can even go Voice of the Storm for lucky damage, which would then scale this Keystone more because you're getting more maximum lightning damage. So then the Keystone would probably be something like 20% more damage instead of 10% more, plus lucky damage. So that would be a lot of damage right there in itself. You can get a better wand. There's a lot of things you do to get better gear. This is all just a lot of recom and breach gear. Necrotic and Lich will probably be. I'll probably get a Necrotic, try to get an 86 Necrotic from Breach, and then craft on it, or if it's good enough, just keep it. The Lich Circlet, a lot of this is going to be Breach and Recom gear. That's basically what I'm going to be going for. Whatever I don't get from Breach is going to be, I'm going to be recoming. Amethyst Rings, I will probably recom just because I don't want to deal with farming essences. I don't like farming a lot of essences. It's boring. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions on the build or if I'm a dirty patter and my POB is fake. Let me know. I would like to fix it because I don't want to do that. That's bad. I'm trying my best to not pad. Like I have the 1 second here. I don't have 2 comma clicked. I don't have energy shell always full clicked. What else? I don't have like the shock changed. This is pretty reasonable because you're casting your curse, Orb of Storms, and Lightning Conduit, and you're also frost blinking, so it could be 4, but I'm keeping it on 3. I don't have any convergence clicked. I don't have any charges clicked. I don't have focus clicked. So you're gonna have a lot more. It's gonna be a lot more damage than what it shows here when you actually do have all your things clicked and buffed up. I don't have any flasks on, and I don't have a mortar call on. So I think that, and I also have the 2 setups here for mapping and bossing. So I think that this should be a pretty strong build. This should pretty much be what you get with this POB. I think this is pretty realistic and fair for the real game. Transitioning this into the real game. Leveling, you can level however you want. I tried yesterday, at the end of the day, I tried Spark, adding lightning damage, Arcane Surge with Orb of Storms and Flame Wall. A lot of people clown on Spark for leveling. I think it was totally fine. I don't know. I'm not a super fast speedrunner or campaign expert by any means. I tried it. It felt fine. I couldn't complain. Like I got through Act 1 in like 20 minutes. So yeah, you can do whatever you want for leveling, but I recommend at 28 you go Lightning Conduit and you get the Shock as your first Ascendancy node, and then at around 28 you're going to be around here. You have the Shock. You have the shock effect, and then you're going to have Elements Overload, a bunch of cast speed right here, Ellie Res, more cast speed, you're going to have a decent amount of life, and the max effect of shock. And with the new changes to quality, that buffs Lightning Conduit a lot as well, because you have 10% quality on Lightning Conduit throughout the campaign with the blue socket. So I think that once you get Lightning Conduit, the campaign's pretty much over. You're going to be doing so much damage. It's going to be insane. So I'm going to be going to 28 with Spark, and I tried Stormburst a little bit. Stormburst felt really good for single target, felt horrible for clear. So I might just keep this setup in for clearing, and then this setup for single target until 28. I don't know what I don't know. I'm just kind of play it by ear. You guys do what you want. You can go fire leveling. You can go whatever. I just kind of want to stay lightning because I don't want to worry about respecs. I don't really like respecking in the campaign. It's kind of a pain in the butt, especially in SSF. I want to keep my gold, as much gold as I can for recoms and other things like gambling. So yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. I think this is gonna be a very strong build. I think it's pretty tanky for the gear level. Uh, I would go and then right front Arcane Devotion, and then yeah, you guys can look and pick apart and criticize my POB when I link it. So yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions, and good luck on League Start. See ya.